video we are going to talk about our Leetcode problem of the day, and the problem is count number of teams. So now let's read the problem statement. There are n soldiers standing in a line. Each soldier is assigned a unique rating value. You have to form a team of 3 soldiers. Okay, we have to form a team of 3 soldiers over here. These 3 soldiers. Okay, this is the team of 3 soldiers. Amongst each choose 3 soldiers with index I, J and K with rating of I, rating of J and rating of K. A team is valid if the rating of I is less than rating of J, which is also less than rating of K. Okay, for example, you have been given an array. For example, like 1, 2, 3, 4. They have been given. So you have to find. Let's remove 4. Yes. So the basically this is the what rating. This is the rating of soldiers. Okay. So basically it must be 1 less than 2 less than 3. In this order we have to find the groups, or in the other order. Other order what? This one. Wait a minute. Yes. So basically for this order it will be 1 less than 2 less wait 1 less than 2 less than 3, and for rating of I greater than or equals to this, and for this order what will be for this order. Okay, what it will be 3 less than, it will be I greater than 3 greater than 2 greater than 1. Okay, in this order it may come. Okay, so you have to just reverse the order. Okay, in this way. So basically we have to return the number of teams you can form from the given conditions. Soldier can a part of multiple teams. Okay, for example, let's suppose take this example 2, 5, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so you can take teams in between. Okay, for like this. Okay, or from this. So in between also you can take teams. So don't worry about it. We will be using simple iterative approach, okay, for loops, but it must be solved in the order of O of n square. Basically we require 3 soldiers, so 3 soldier means we have to use O of n cube, but it's not valid over here. Okay, O of n cube is not valid. We have to do it in O of n square only. So now let's see how we can solve the problem in O of n square. Basically the example 2, 5, 3, 4 and 1. Okay, so our first example will be, first group will be this 2, 3 and 4. Okay, 2 less than 3 less than 4. Okay, our next group, what will be our next group? Our next group will be 5. Wait, let me change the color. It will be 5, 4 and 1. Okay, 5 greater than 4 greater than 1. Okay, in this way it can come. And our next example, what it can be? It can be basically 5, 3 and 1. Okay, it can be basically 5, 3 and 1. Okay, 5 greater than 3 greater than 1. In this we are able to see that we have total 3 groups over here, so we have to just return the count of the groups. Okay, now second example, let's see the second example. Our group is what? 2, 1 and 3 over here. So in this group, as you are able to see that 2 is greater than 1, but 1 is less than 3 over here. Okay, means both the numbers are greater, but they are not in the same order. Okay, both the numbers are greater, but they are not in the same order. It must be in the order 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1. So it will be correct, but this order is absolutely not correct. So the count will be 0 over here. And the second group, third example, 1, 2, 3 and 4. What it will be? 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3, 4. Also in the reverse order. Okay, Also in the reverse order, it will be 4 3 2 and 3 2 1, 1 2 3, 2 3 4, 4 3 2 and 3 2 1. Okay, in this order it can come. We have got our total 3 teams over here. As you are able to see, we have got 4 teams. So how you will be going to solve the problem statement? So for each possible middle element of the team, okay, each possible middle element of the team, let's call for example rating of j. Let's call example rating of j. Let's call for example rating of j over here. Yes, so we have to count how many elements before it are smaller than the rating of j. Count how many elements are smaller than the rating of j. For example, I am taking rating as r, okay, r of j, and how many elements after it? How many element? This will be 1 and this is 2. Element 2 after r of j will be greater, means after r of j it will be greater than rating of j. So we have to count how many elements before it are larger than rating of j and how many elements after it are smaller than rating of j. So we have to use this count to determine how many valid teams can be formed with rating of j as the middle element. Okay. So in this way you have to just solve the problem statement. Okay. So for that you have to just means use the loop through, means iterating through each rating index of j. Okay. So now let's begin with the coding approach. I will be explaining each and every term. So uh, be in the video. Okay. So let's begin. Yes. So first of all we will take n equals to what? Our length of the rating. N equals to the length of the rating, means the array. Okay. And now let's take count equals to what? 0 over here. Next our count will be 0. Okay. Now we will run a for loop. Okay. For each index j, consider it as a middle member of the team. Okay. Consider j as middle member of the team. Keep in mind. So it will be for j in range, for j in range what? 1 to n minus 1. We are taking starting from 1 and considering the uh, 0th index 1 for each and every iteration. Okay, for comparing it with the smaller one and the larger one. Okay, so now basically uh, what it will become next? Okay, it's a question. Okay, means what can come to the next. So basically we will find the smaller left over here. We will just basically find the smaller left. Smaller left equals to what? Smaller left equals to, it means basically it just counts the number of elements before index j that are smaller than rating of j. Okay, these are the elements before index j, but it counts the element smaller than rating of j. Keep in mind. Okay, so basically sum of rating of j, sum of rating of, sorry, sum of rating of I, if it is less than rating of j, if it is less than rating of j. Okay, for I in range j. Okay, for I in range of j, we are comparing the rating of I and rating of j, means for the smaller left. Okay, if there is a smaller left, we are finding the sum over here. Then we will go for larger left. Okay, we will go for larger left, means it just count the number of elements before index j that are larger than rating of j. Okay, before index j that are larger than rating of j. For example, let's consider smaller left over here. Smaller left, yes, smaller left over here. It count the number of element, means before index j. Okay, sorry, uh, yes, before index j it counts the element before index j. Okay, and means and the elements which are smaller than the rating of j, and the elements smaller than rating of j, okay, over here. So this was the smaller left, and then we will go on larger left, okay, which counts the number of elements before index j, okay. Basically there is I j k, okay. So this is what smaller left, this is larger left, and this is middle one, okay. Smaller left, larger left, and middle. So in this way we are solving the problem. So a larger left is what? It counts the number of elements before index j that are larger than rating of j, okay. So basically larger left, larger left equals to what? Sum of what? Sum of rating of I. Rating of I is what? Greater than. Rating of I is greater than the rating of j. Greater than the rating of j. So for I in range. So for I in range j over here, okay. Basically it will be this. Uh, with Let me explain it with example. Yes, over here. So basically our larger left will be what? It will be means the before the j, element before the j, means before the j it will be, and it just will be, and the element will be what? It will be greater than, it will be greater than the rating of j. And earlier one smaller rating was element smaller than rating of j, then we have element greater than the rating of j over here, okay. So now our next one will be smaller right, then our next one will be smaller right over here. Smaller right means the element at the extreme right, okay. Element at the extreme right of the means indexing, okay, that will be smaller right. Means basically I, wait a minute, basically this is I, this is j, and this is k. uh, Suppose we are here, so this is what? Smaller left, and this is larger left, okay. And then what? Suppose if we are here, over here, middle one, this is what? This is smaller right, and this is larger right over here. Sorry, there was a mistake over here. Yes, uh, yes, over here. If you are at the last index, it will be basically larger left, and this is what? Smaller left, okay. Keep in mind. And for red one, this is larger left and larger left. Okay, so this was basically the given indexing. So for smaller left, it basically count the number of elements after index j, okay, that are smaller than the rating of j. So this is smaller right. Smaller right is equals to what? Sum of rating of k. Rating of k is smaller than the rating of j. Rating of k smaller than the rating of j over here, okay. So basically for range k in range of what? K in range of j plus 1 to n, after the j, okay, from j plus 1 to n. So means it is already after the j, okay. Then comes the larger right. Larger right over here, this larger right. We have done with the smaller right, larger left and smaller left, and our last is larger right, means the extreme right position. Basically the larger right counts the number of elements after index j that are larger than the rating of j, okay. Larger right, larger right equals to what? larger right equals to sum of rating of k. What it will be? It will be greater than the rating of j. For what? For k in range of what? J plus 1 to n. For k in range of j plus 1 to n. So basically this was for smaller left and this was for larger left. Okay, now for smaller right and smaller right. In smaller right, basically the element is smaller than the rating of j, and in larger right the element is what? Greater than the rating of j over here. Okay, so this was the basic differences, and we are finding the sum for each one. Okay, we are just finding the sum for each element. So now for the rating of each rating of j, the valid terms are what? Those where rating of j is the middle element. So you add smaller element, multiply the larger right, means smaller left multiply larger right, and the larger left multiply smaller right. Basically this one, I am explaining. This is I, this is j, and this is k. So you are in the middle one over here. So this is what? This is basically the smaller left and larger right. Okay, this is basically the smaller left and larger right over here. So it will be what? Multiplied, smaller left multiply larger right. Okay, for example, I smaller than j smaller than k, so this is smaller left and this is larger right. So basically we are, and this is the middle one, so we are multiplying smaller left multiply larger right. Okay, we have got this one, this formula. Now for example, if our I, j and k is given in this format, we have done with the first format, the less one. If I less than j less than k. Now if I greater than j greater than k, see in the question itself we have been given two conditions: rating of I less than rating of j less than rating of k, and then second condition, rating of I greater than rating of j greater than rating of k, this one over here. Okay, as you are able to see in the question itself we are giving the two conditions. Okay, so these two conditions. Now our second condition is what? If our j is in the middle form. Okay, so this is basically what? This is basically larger left and this is smaller right. Okay, I is basically larger left and k is basically what? Smaller right. So we must be multiplying larger left with the smaller right to finding the means finding the exact form of the means group over here, means team, number of teams under the given conditions. So now we have got these two formulas. We have got these two formulas over here. Now let's add it. We are going to now just add it. Smaller left multiply larger right plus larger left multiply smaller right. Okay, this we have got our formula, and now increment it by count. Just increment it by count over here. Okay, so basically our count will be incremented by what? Our count will be incremented by what? Smaller left multiply and larger right, smaller left. So we have done with smaller left multiply larger right multiplied by larger right over here. Okay, we have done with it. Now plus, we have done with this also. Now plus larger left multiply smaller right plus over here larger left multiply smaller right multiply by smaller right. Okay, we have incremented the count, and at last we will just return our count over here, return count. Okay, so now this is basically the test cases I have used over here, and the fourth case is you are able to see that it is too large, okay, to understand. Okay. This was my fourth case, the edge case, and the biggest case for the question over here. So now let's see. Smaller left is not defined. It's giving. Oh, sorry, I have used a wrong spelling. Smaller left. Yeah, it's now correct. Now let's try to run it. Yeah, our code is giving correct output as expected over here. Okay, so now let's try to submit it. Yeah, our code is being accepted over here. Okay, our code is being accepted over here. So this was basically the explanation for the given question. Okay, this was basically the given explanation for the question, and basically this was the code over here. Let me give spaces. Yes, this was basically the code. So thank you guys.